Commander Vex Thul stood 8 feet tall, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the harsh lights of the trading station. His species, the Corvani, had dominated this sector for 3 millennia through superior size, strength, and military prowess. When the diminutive human female approached his booth, barely reaching his chest plate, he couldn't suppress the clicking sound that passed for laughter among his kind. "You seek passage to the outer rim?" Vex Thul's voice resonated through his vocal chambers like grinding stone. "Little soft flesh, that region is no place for your kind. The gravity wells alone would crush your fragile bones." The human woman, introduced as Captain Elena Rodriguez, stood unfazed despite being dwarfed by nearly every other species in the bustling marketplace. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and her simple flight suit bore the insignia of the Terran Exploration Corps. She carried herself with quiet confidence that Vex Thul found amusing. "I can pay double your standard rate," she said simply, placing a credit chip on his counter. Vex Thul's 4 eyes examined the chip's readout, and his amusement faded slightly. The sum was substantial, enough to upgrade his ship's quantum drives. Still, he had a reputation to maintain. "Credits cannot overcome biology," he rumbled. "The outer rim crawls with apex predators. Void serpents that swallow entire vessels. Crystalline hunters that phase through hull plating. Your species lacks the physical capabilities to survive such encounters." "I understand your concerns," Elena replied calmly. "Perhaps you'd like to meet my companion before making a final decision." She pressed a small communication device clipped to her collar. "Max, could you come inside? Someone would like to meet you." Vex Thul's attention was already shifting to other potential clients when the station's emergency lighting began flashing. A deep, resonant growl echoed through the marketplace, a sound that made his exoskeleton vibrate sympathetically. Conversations died. Vendors froze mid-transaction. Even the massive Theranian dock workers stopped their heavy lifting to look around nervously. The marketplace's main entrance, designed to accommodate the largest known species, suddenly seemed inadequate as something enormous squeezed through. Vex Thul's optical sensors struggled to process what he was seeing. The creature was easily 30 feet long, covered in matte black scales that seemed to absorb light itself. Its 6 legs moved with predatory grace, each ending in claws that scraped furrows in the reinforced deck plating. Most unsettling were its eyes, dozens of them, arranged in clusters along its elongated skull, each one glowing with bioluminescent intelligence. Vex Thul recognized it immediately from military briefings: a void stalker, the apex predator of deep space. These creatures were known to hunt in the vacuum between stars, feeding on the exotic matter that leaked from damaged warp cores. A single adult could destroy a battle cruiser. The massive predator moved directly toward Elena's position, and Vex Thul's combat instinct screamed at him to flee. Instead, he watched in stunned silence as the human woman reached up to scratch behind one of the creature's many ears. "This is Max," she said conversationally, as the void stalker lowered its house-sized head to nuzzle against her shoulder with surprising gentleness. "I found him as a hatchling after his mother was killed by poachers. We've been together for 7 years now." The creature's purr, if such a sound could be called purring, resonated through the deck plating like a ship's engine at idle. Its multitude of eyes tracked Vex Thul's movements with casual interest, the way a human might watch an ant. "The outer rim is Max's natural habitat," Elena continued, stroking the creature's snout. "He gets homesick being confined to civilized space for too long. I was hoping to find transport out there so he can hunt properly again." Vex Thul's worldview underwent rapid recalibration. Humans weren't physically imposing, but they possessed something his species had never developed: the ability to form bonds across evolutionary boundaries. Where the Corvani saw only predator and prey, humans saw potential companions. "When do you wish to depart?" he heard himself asking. Elena smiled, an expression that suddenly seemed far less harmless than before. "Whenever you're ready, Commander. Max is eager to show you some of his favorite hunting grounds." As Vex Thul began calculating hyperspace routes to the outer rim, he realized that perhaps size wasn't the most important measure of a species' capabilities after all.